The NBA Finals, Game 4, Toronto versus Golden State, took place last night. And if you did have a chance to watch it, or if you didn't, Toronto came out with a win to take a 3-1 lead against Golden State, 105-92. Toronto coming out with another victory on the road against Golden State. This wasn't something that I had anticipated myself. I'll be completely honest. I definitely saw Golden State being up at this point in the series, but I've been wrong before. So let's touch on a few things. Clay returned in Game 4 as well as Kevon Looney. But I guess even with the return of two of their players, Golden State wasn't able to edge out a victory. Let's talk some of the things that might have led to that before I get into the overall stats. It seemed one thing that prevented Golden State from getting this victory, Toronto's defense. And so when we're talking Golden State, Golden State had 17 turnovers to Toronto's 9. Let's see what else. Rebounds, Golden State 42 rebounds to Toronto's 38. Toronto definitely made their way to the free throw line. They shot 96% at the free throw line, 23 of 24 attempts. Golden State only attempted 21 free throws. They made 14. Let's start with Golden State. Last time I started with Toronto. I'm going to start with Golden State this time. Curry had 27 points. He was 9 of 22 from the field. If you had the chance to listen to my last podcast, I touched on the fact that this, even though I had seen in seeing Steph Curry, it was one of the first times that I had really seen him tired, and this continued into this game as well. So we're talking fatigue on a game-to-game basis. I would have thought that there should have been an extra day in between the series, but there was only a full day in between each game. So we're talking less rest for players. And, essentially, Steph and the Warriors, they did have an extended amount of rest coming off the Portland win against facing the Trailblazers. But now facing the Toronto Raptors, it seems that the fatigue is definitely taking a toll on the team. Steph is coming off of a 47-point loss, actually, in Game 3. So you can definitely tell that the fatigue is taking its toll. Klay Thompson returned. He had 28 points on his outing. Draymond had 10 points. DeMarcus Cousins, he had 6 points. And that's one thing, especially that I feel that Golden State is lacking, a true center. This is something that, if you followed last year's NBA Finals, they had JaVale McGee. So, even though he was bringing, an offensive weapon as far as rebounding and points in the paint. So they're lacking the center that they're hoping to have. We have Kevon Looney off the bench. He had 10 points as well. But Golden State only had 4 players in double figures last night. So that's pretty alarming, especially for the returning champions in the NBA Finals as well. So it kind of raises the question of, whether they actually do need Durant to cap off and add to the points, as well as someone who can lock down the paint as well. Now Golden State is going to come back. They're going to be on the road against Toronto. So let's talk little things that made Toronto successful in Game 4. Kawhi Leonard led the team in points, 36 points, 11 of 22 from the field. He was consistent all 4 quarters. He really took off in the third quarter following halftime. He was consistent coming up the court, taking threes, even from the mid-range as well. So we saw an aggressive Kawhi, someone who was really looking to close out this game on the road, really taking it to the defending champs and taking it to them at their own home arena as well. If you're the head coach of Toronto, Nick Nurkic, pronounce his name wrong, Nick Nurkic, as well. You've got to be happy with Kawhi's performance and the rest of the Raptors as well. Pascal Siakam, he had 19 points. He was 6 of 14 from the field. So, bringing another offensive weapon as well for Toronto. Kyle Lowry had 10 points. He was 3 of 12 from the field, but, at least the contribution was there. Let's talk Serge Ibaka. He was consistent, the majority of the game. He had 20 points. His defensive presence was there as well. He had 2 blocks. And he also contributed with 4 rebounds as well. And then we had Fred VanVleet, someone who, like I said, even, in the last podcast, he's been consistent in the playoffs. He chipped in 8 points off the bench. And so now we're talking, what does this mean? Like I said, Toronto, they pretty much swarmed Golden State the entire game. Even though, like I said, Golden State with Klay and Steph, now we're seeing the effects of, it's really only 2 guards. So they're lacking a true power forward and a true center as well, and even a true small forward. We're only seeing 2 consistent players that can really bring consistent scoring to the team as well. So now as we head back to Toronto, we're going to be looking to see, can Toronto keep up their defensive efficiency, and can they continue to score as well. But will Golden State be able to survive another game, or will Toronto claim their first NBA championship? I mean, this is a big deal. If you've, like I said, if you've been keeping up with the series, I think a lot of people expected Golden State to quickly close this series out. But with Kevin Durant out for the series, they haven't been able to get the efficiency and the output from the rest of their players that they were looking for. Game 5 is going to be on Monday. So definitely check it out if you do have the chance. But like I said, this will be key if Toronto can close out the series at home and take their first NBA championship. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to Game 5. And, I'm definitely looking forward to see if Toronto can close out the series as well. So more basketball is on the way. And, I'm excited to see what's going to happen as far as Toronto, and to see if Golden State can survive one more game. NBA Finals, more basketball on the way.